Hi, this is John and I'm back. I thought today I would make one of my favorite soups in the world. There's nothing like a nice bowl of soup on a cold, rainy day, and that's pretty much what today is like. So tonight I thought I'd make cheddar cheese and ale soup. It has two of my favorite ingredients in the whole world, and that of course is ale and cheese. It really rocks. It's really easy to make. It takes about 20 minutes. And it's terribly delicious. So let's make some cheddar cheese and ale soup. So the ingredient list for the soup is, well, it's pretty simple. It's got a few things. Actually, it's got some of the best things you can have in this world, in this recipe. That's how good it is. So we've got some flour, like I mentioned, some cheese, celery, carrot, leek, Parmesan cheese, ground mustard, beer, chicken broth, cayenne pepper, butter, Worcestershire sauce. Woo. Okay, this is awesome. So I'm gonna basically just prep everything and then I'll get cooking. Also, I'm making this recipe basically enough just for two of us. Both my wife and I will eat it. The girls will have something else because they don't eat beer and cheese in soup. I don't know why. Doesn't matter. So I'm making enough for two. So when I go through the ingredient list and amounts, if you want enough for four or more, you can double it or add as much as you want. But I'm gonna do enough just for two. So it's just pretty. Just keep that in mind if you're following along, which I'm not sure if you are, but if you are, keep that in mind. Let's rock. Okay, I'm back and I'm basically just heating up my pot here. Again, I'm doing enough for just two of us, so if you want to make more, just double everything I say from here on out, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to melt about a quarter cup of butter, and then with that I'm going to add and with that I'm going to add half a carrot, half a stalk of celery, and half a leek, the white and the green part, and I basically just diced it all up. I'm going to melt that in the butter and basically just let it soften down for about 10 minutes on medium heat. Okay, so my butter's melted down. I'm going to add, again, my carrot, celery, and leek in there. And again, just give it about 10 minutes to basically soften down a little bit before we start adding other stuff. So I'll be right back once that's done. So what I'm going to do now is add a quarter cup of flour and a quarter teaspoon of dried mustard to this just for a minute, and just let the flour soak into the butter and the vegetables. In this case, again, like the recipe I made the other night, the beef stroganoff, the flour basically adds as a thickener. So when I add my stock and my beer, it becomes nice and thick rather than just like a really thin soup. So just let that brown for a minute or so. Okay, so now we get to add the stock. I'm gonna add 2 cups of chicken stock. And I'm gonna add my beer. That's about half a beer. I'm gonna turn the heat up to high and basically let it simmer. Okay, you can see it's just starting to simmer a little bit. So what I'm going to do is once it starts to simmer, I'm going to turn the heat back down to medium, and then just let it thicken up for about 5 minutes. It'll probably take about 5 minutes. It could take a little bit less again because there's half the ingredients. But what we want to do is just let it get nice and sort of thick. Again, the flour will do that as we stir it. And you just want to make sure all that flour you added in before is sort of broken up and dissolved. What it looks like mine has. So we'll just let it simmer for 5 minutes on medium heat. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes now. So what I'm going to do is actually add my cheese. What I've got here is a cup of old cheddar cheese. I'm going to mix this in. Basically, once we add the cheese, we want to make sure that the soup doesn't boil again, because the boil will actually make the cheese curdle a little bit, and that's no good. So I'm going to add my cheese in and give it about 3 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes again, just to let the cheese melt in the soup. Look how good that looks. I'm going for 3 minutes. Okay, I'm going to take that off the heat, just getting a little bit hot there. Last minute here, I'm just going to add some Parmesan cheese In this case, about 1/8 of a cup, so not that much, just a little bit. Stir that cheese in. So finally, I'm just gonna add some more Worcestershire sauce in here, and there's some cayenne pepper in there, just like less than a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, and just a touch of cayenne. Unless you like it a bit hotter, then you can add a bit more. But that's just a little bit of cayenne, just to add some heat. Okay, I'm gonna have a little taste. Always taste your soup. Perfect. So what I'm gonna do now is just put this in some bowls and tuck in, eat. Okay, so I got my carrots, celery, leek, broth, beer, cheese, flour, butter. It is good. I don't think this is bad. I think this is all good. And then just to sort of make it a little less good for me, I'm just gonna add a couple slices of extra old cheddar on top, just why not? Okay, I'm gonna sit down and enjoy my cheddar cheese and ale soup and have another beer. Until next time.